Good morning, good morning, good morning, my people, my people, my people. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo. My people, let us keep it real. We're going to discuss fighting is so easy. You must be faithful. Fighting is so easy. You must be faithful. O great supreme and sovereign Most High, the creator of the very existence of existence and all the creatures that dwell therein. Father, you are so awesome and powerful and mighty that anything you create have life. Even the earth that we walk upon has life. Life that was infused into the earth when you created the earth. Father, for you is the epitome of life. All life source gather their life from you, Most High. I thank you for this wonderful opportunity to come to speak to your people again this morning, Most High. Send your Holy Spirit close to this place. Let your Holy Spirit direct my thoughts unto the thoughts of righteousness. Let your Holy Spirit put only the things you place upon my heart, upon my mind. Let your Holy Spirit warn of all who will try to use demonic and other forces to interfere with my mind, to interfere with my thoughts, to interfere with my memory. All who will try to use demonic and other forces to put words in my mouth that are not in my vocabulary. All who will try to use demonic and other forces to cause me to stumble over words I am familiar with. Yahweh, let your Holy Spirit protect me from the demonic and other forces that the evil and wicked are going to use to hamper my ability to speak clearly and to present that which you have put upon my heart to your people. Father, send your holy angels to put up a hedge of protection around this place, to protect me from even the minor inconveniences that the enemies will try to throw my way. I ask all of these mercies in Yahweh's name. I say, let it be done. My people, let us turn the Bible to Deuteronomy chapter 4, and we are going to read verse 12. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 12. And it says, you shall not add unto the Lord command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandment of the Lord which I command you. My people, this is the word of the Most High. These are the words that was given to Moses by the Most High for the children of Israel. The children of Israel have just come out of Egypt. They have lost all of the values of their father. They have adopted the values and the lifestyle of the Egyptian. The Most High brought them out. And now the Most High is going through a period of reteaching Jacob's children the values Jacob and his sons take into Egypt. So what the Most High is saying here to the children of Israel, listen to me. When I give you a command, don't add to it, take away from it. Practice the command as I have given it. I did not give you the authority to take away from it. I did not give you the authority to add to it. Just practice as I say, because there is a wisdom in the things that I will tell you that you will not even begin to perceive. The Most High know everything. Everything. So that is the basis on which we are going to discuss this topic today. Fighting is so easy. You must be faithful. My people, before we go on, Let me make another disclaimer here. If I come into your presence and I tell you that a cobra snake is venomous, it is aggressive, and it is swift, it loves to bite, and if a cobra snake bites you, there's a possibility that you will die from the venom. It does not mean that I am prejudiced towards the cobra snake. I am just bringing some useful information to you so that you can use this information in the event you come into a confrontation with a cobra. If I say anything here about the members of the Caucasus community that is not flattering, it does not mean I am prejudiced towards the Caucasians. I am just bringing you useful information so when you are dealing with the Caucasian, you can use this information. But I will tell you this, because of my information about the cobra, I am prejudiced to the cobra. But my prejudice is an informed prejudice. I know that the cobra is vicious, it is swift, it is venomous, and its venom can kill me. And if I'm bitten by the cobra, I could die. In the same way, I am prejudiced to the Caucasians because I know what the Caucasians give. And my prejudice towards the Caucasians is to protect me from the evil that naturally emanates from that group or race of people. My people, now the disclaimer is out. And now we have the basis under which we must discuss this message. Let us get into it. As we said yesterday, the way we typed today is based on the Christian religion and their doctrine and teaching as to how we should and must type. We have men and women who were taught how to interpret the scriptures, and those men and women teach us what they were taught, and we follow the instructions of our teachers. My people, I have good news and I have bad news. The principles of tithing is supposed to come from the Holy Scriptures, but the principles the Christian church teaches its members as how to tithe is not biblical. I have even worse news. Those people who have a monopoly on the Bible, on the printing of the Bible, on the teaching and teaching men how to interpret and understand what is written within the Bible, are members of the Caucasus community, the Caucasians. We have learned that the Caucasians in this generation are the Edomites of the Bible. And we have learned from our previous study that Esau is the father of the Edomite. Therefore, Esau is the father of the Caucasian. What we learn about Esau is that Esau is a seed of Lucifer. He's a seed of the devil. He was planted into Rebekah's womb to abort the plans of the Most High. And his main objective was to kill our father Jacob, who was the rightful inhabitor of Rebekah's womb. We also learn that because Esau is a seed of Lucifer, he's a seed of the devil. The Most High said, wasn't Esau and Jacob brothers? Yet I hate Esau, but Jacob I love. And I will hate the Edomites forever. He will hate the descendants of Esau forever. Malachi chapter 1, verse 2 to 4. He said some other unflattering things about the Edomites, which we will not go into right here. Let us qualify that the Edomites and the Caucasians of today are the same. Let us go to two publications of the Caucasus community. First, we'll go to the Encyclopedia Britannica, or the online version, the Britannica. the Encyclopedia Britannica says, under the subject Jerusalem, subtopic Roman rule, that Herod, the Roman king who ruled over Israel when Jesus Christ was alive, when Yahweh was alive, is an Edomite. Let us go to another publication of another sect of the Caucasians, the Jewish community. They have a publication called Chabad. An online version is chabad.org. When discussing 14 facts you must know about Esau, it says that Esau is the progenitor of the Romans. And that was fact number 12. And we know that Rome is just a city in Italy. And since Esau is the progenitor of the Romans, it means that Esau is the progenitor of all Italians. And since Chabad.org identified the Duke Magdiel as the progenitor of the Romans or of the Italian, and since Esau had 11 dukes, we have to conclude that the other 10 dukes of Esau were responsible for populating all of Europe. Remember the description that was given to Esau when he was born, as it related into Genesis chapter 25 verse 25? You see, he was red all over and hairy like a garment. The perfect description of a Caucasian. So that is the description of the Edomite. My people, since the Most High said that he would hate the Caucasians and he would hate the Caucasians forever, that means there is enmity between the Most High and the Caucasians. Why? Because the father of the Caucasians is the Most High fierce enemy. He hates the Most High with a passion. My people, do you think that our slave master, the people who went out of their way to enslave us for 2,357 years, do you think that they will ever do anything to ensure that we become prosperous, that the Most High, who declared that we are the apple of his eyes, to prosper us and make us strong as he did the son Jacob? No. Everything that they does is to ensure that the Israelites never prosper, that they always are at the negative receiving end from the Most High, the God of creation. Deuteronomy chapter 30 says, all of the cursing is for our enemies, those who hate us and those who persecute us. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68 says, our enemies are those who offers us for sale or purchase us as slaves. There's only one person who offered us and purchased us as bondmen and bondwomen, is the Edomite, the Caucasians. So as I said earlier, the bad news is Thiting, as it is practiced and propagated by the Christian churches, all of them, is not biblical. Another bad news is that the people who are propagating these unbiblical practices and pass them off as biblical are the enemies of the Israelites, the Caucasians. My people, they said that when you are tithing, your obligation as a Christian, you must give the church 10% of your gross income, plus offering. My people, this is not biblical. The tithe is 10%. But 10% of what? What does the Bible say the tithe is? My people, when many people tithe, as the Christian church asks them to tithe, they find themselves in financial difficulties. Because what you see happening, their expenditure and their miscellaneous expenditure throughout the coming month often surpass that which they have to spend. So let us hear what the Holy Scripture has to say about tithing. Let us turn to Deuteronomy chapter 26 verse 12 as we did yesterday. And I will show you why it is important for you to tithe. And it does not matter how large your tithes are. All you have to do is follow the principle of the Most High. You are not here to impress anyone, but you are here to do what the Most High says. My people, he says, don't add or take away from his word. Deuteronomy chapter 26 verse 12. When thou have made an end of tithing, all the tithes of thy increase. First point. The third year, which is the year of tithing. Second point. And give it to the Levite. Third point, the stranger. Fourth point, the fatherless. Fifth point, and the widow, that they may eat within your gates and be filled. This is the law of tithing. This is telling you what is expected of you as one who served the Most High in spirit and in truth and is willing to practice as the Most High have commanded. So the first thing we hear from the Christian church is you must give 10% of your gross income. So if you're making $2,000, your obligation to the church is $200. This is not biblical. The Most High says in Deuteronomy chapter 26 verse 12, when thou hast made an end of tithing, all of the tithe of thine increase, of your increase. What does this mean? It means everything you invest in order to get the lump sum that you now have should be taken out of the lump sum, and whatever remains is the increase. For example, if you are a farmer and you invest $500 in your farm, which includes your labor, and at the end when you reap your crop, you sell all of your product for $800. What you have to do, take out your investment from the $800, which leaves $300, and that is your increase, $300 in increase. So what you do, you tithe based on your increase. My people, this $500 that you would have invested, because farming is your way of life, it would include the thing that you pay for your water, because you have to ensure that you are able to go to work. You have to pay yourself. You have to pay your bills and so forth. So the $500 that was invested in your farming will have to take into consideration your meals, your living compartments, your utilities, and all of these things that keep you alive and healthy and fresh so that you can go to work and expense energy in your farm. My people, if you are working for a salary, your expense have to be taken out of your salary before you pay tithe. Whatever remains after your expense for the month is taken out is your increase. The church don't want you to know that, because it was a Roman Catholic Church intention to become rich and to maintain world governance through its churches. That is why they export the first error. You don't give 10% of your gross income, but you give 10% of your increase. after you have taken out all of the money you have spent to ensure that you are capable of going to work and earn a living, you put it in 10 parts, and then one of those parts is the tithe. It says that you must tithe every 3 years, the 3rd year. But this is principle, especially that is used for farmers and for businesses. Right? So it gives you a chance to break even if you fall short 1 year. So this is the principle in which the Most High, you see how thoughtful and considerate the Most High is. He takes everything into consideration. But if you are working month to month, it is all right to pay your tithe month to month. So this is a principle that is flexible. And it's good especially for people who are involved in farming or in running a business. You pay tithe every 3 years. And have given it to the Levite. So who the Levite represent? The Levite represent the church. So you must give your tithe to the Levite, but not all of the tithe. Because you have an obligation from the tithe to the strangers in the community, to the fatherless in the community, and to the widows. That they, all of them, the Levite, the strangers, the fatherless, and the widow, must eat and be filled within your gates. So from the tithe, the Most High is giving you the opportunity to take care of the needs of those people within your community who will have needs that either they are unable to fulfill. You get to fulfill those needs using part of the 10% that the Most High says you must give for tithe. I told you the story yesterday when I got the idea that I should give some members of my community a part of the tithe and return the rest of the church. I didn't know it was biblical. And I did it. And one time we were having a discussion about tithe in church, and I bring it to the pastor's attention. The pastor tell me that I should not be doing that because I'm taking the credit of helping those people for myself. I'm not giving it to God, and I am not giving it to the church. But here the Most High says that the credit of helping the members of the community who needs help, I must use the tithe, and I will get the credit for that. We see Abraham did it. We discussed that yesterday. In Genesis chapter 18, Abraham fed the strangers a lavish meal. He went out of his way to ensure that he touched base with these strangers who were passing through, invite them to refresh themselves, to wash their feet, and to have a meal. Is it not that these strangers could not afford a meal? But Abraham was following the law of tithing as was presented to them by the Most High. My people, so let us take a look at what happens when you're working for a salary and you are asked to give 10% of your gross income. Let us say a man is working for $2,000. The first thing the government is going to do, take out their 8% for tax, which will amount up to $160. Now you return from that $2,000, from the gross, $200. Now, even before you paid the first bill from your $2,000 salary, you are short $360. That puts you somewhere about what? $1,640 or thereabout. Now let us say you have a rent of $500. You have a utility of $200. Transportation you pay $100. Food, you pay about $2.50 for food. And miscellaneous, you have a $50 set aside just in case. You know your shoe get damaged in a shoe, or you have to go to the tailor or the shoemaker to do repairs to your clothing. Now, that will run you about $1,100. So now, after your bills, before you even buy a chuck ice or an ice cream to reward yourself, you now have $540. So now, after your expense, the tithe represents 37% of your increase. So now you get 63, the church get 37%. The church did not invest in you, in your strength, in your health, or anything, but they are getting 37%. I am not downplaying the importance of the church. The church is important. Now let us see what happens if you fight in the manner in which the Most High wants you to tithe. Well, we see that the government is going to take out their 160 first. You have no control over that. But the Most High says tithe of your increase. Taxes is a part of your expenditure. So now, you spent $1,100 on your fixed expenditure. So from that, right, which include tax, after your expenditure is completed, you have $1,840. Not $1,640, but $1,840. This is what you have after you have paid your taxes. Now take away the $1,100 from that. You have $674. That is your increase. From that increase, you pay 10%, which is amount up to $74. Now, for that $74, what you are required to do for that? Some for the Levite, some for the widow, some for the strangers, some for the fatherless. It is not much. $74 is not much. But your obligation is to follow the Most High instructions as He give it. Follow the Most High instructions. Remember He says, don't add or take away from my law. Now, if you think the tithe that you are now returning is too small, you can change that. Not by getting a second job, but being faithful to the Most High in all of His ways. Remember, Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 1 says, and it shall come to pass, if you shall hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord, and observe and do all His commandments, which I have commanded you, the Lord shall set thee high above every nation on the earth. All you have to do now, faithfully start keeping all of the Most High command. Normally, our poverty is based on disobedience to the Most High. The Most High says that if you keep His command faithfully, everything you put your hands to, it's going to be blessed. It is not your obligation to go outside of the perimeter of your tithe, where the widow, the stranger, and the fatherless is concerned. My people, if the widow, the stranger, and the fatherless is faithful to the Most High, the Most High is going to provide for them in a manner that matches their faithfulness. And if you are faithful to the Most High is going to provide for you in a manner that matches your faithfulness. So when you are being paid low salary, it is normally a sign that you're not faithful to the Most High, because the Most High cannot go back on His words. If He says He's going to prosper you and anything you touch, anything you do will be blessed, He said he will make you the head and not the tail. You will lend to others and no one will lend to you. If you are not able to lend to others and some lend to you, it means that you're not faithful. And it does not matter. I don't have a good education. Let me tell you something. All of the resources on the earth belongs to the Most High. He distributes it as He please. And if you're faithful and you don't have a good education and you don't expect a good job, that's not for you to worry about. That is the Most High's business. It is Him who will worry about how He is going to prosper you and ensure that you become the head and not the tail. That you are able to lend to others and no one will lend to you. That when you give your tithe, you will have more than enough to give to the people in need. My people, with $74 tithes plus offering, have to split 4 ways. It would ensure that you gain some respect to the members, from the members in the community, because you are now being generous to the members of the community who are in need, even if it's $10 or $5. It means that you will gain the respect of your community. When a child is going astray, is heading on the road of delinquency, because you are respected by that child and that child parents, he will listen to you when he offers counsel. And probably the money that is given to the fatherless, that you are going to give to the fatherless, is what they need to ensure that they are able to make it. There will be other people in the community who are faithful, who will be contributing to them also, if we are following the principles of the Most High. This ensures that our children do not start stealing to satisfy hunger. It ensures that our children do not become delinquent. And it ensures that you have a hand in producing healthy, functional citizens for your community. It does not matter how small your tithe is. It does not matter how small your contribution is. Once you are willing to contribute to the development of a youth, you will own the respect of those youths forever. You will save them from becoming delinquent and they will always remember you. Let me give you a story. There's a doctor in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's a doctor now with his own hospital and private practice and everything. When he was a boy, going to school, his parents were very poor. And he depended on other relatives for gifts like books and so forth so that he can attend school. And one day, this boy's uncle was patronizing my father's shop. And he was there and he went to his uncle. His uncle said, wait. Uncle was there having a conversation and drinking and so forth with my father and the other patrons of the shop. So my mother looked out and she saw this child who should have been in school hanging around the shop. She said, little boy, what are you doing here? Why are you not in school? To my mother, I came to get some books from my uncle and he's in the shop, so I'm waiting for him. She said, you eat yet? He said, no. So she called him upstairs, sat him around the table, and she gave him a meal. And she gave him, I think it was side jacks or something like that to go with his meal. And that day, there's like this 70s, 60s, and this little boy sat there, he ate, and he had a good time, would always pop by, hoping that my mother would see him and call him upstairs again. However, sometime later, after he had started his private practice and doing all of these things, one of my sisters will go to his private practice as a patient. My nurse sister Claire. And anytime he have examined Claire, even do surgery on Claire, hi Doug, how are you doing, my brother? Nice to have you. He will tell Miss Palmer, you don't have to pay. You can go. She never think any of it. She say, well, okay, he's a doctor and I'm a nurse, professional courtesy. So one time she was in a gathering, and he told her the story that I have just told you. As a little boy, he went to his uncle who was frequenting my father's shop to collect some money to get some books. And my mother looked out and saw him. And when she saw him, she asked him the question, what are you doing there? And she asked him if he have ate already. She invited him upstairs, sat him on the table, and she fed him. My people, look at how the good deed of my mother followed her, and it landed on my sister Claire. This young man who my mother fed and gave Cyjax, the first time he have ever drank Cyjax in his life, grew up to become a doctor. By this time my mother was long dead. But my sister Claire was beneficiary of my mother's good deed to this little boy. My people, when you pay tithes, as the Most High instruct you to pay a tithe, you are touching lives you will never expect to touch. You may not benefit from them, but your children may be the beneficiary of the tithing that you have give, as the Most High have instructed us to tithe. My people, the Most High is no fool. He is God for a reason. When you tithe, you stamp out criminality, delinquency. You ensure that the widows of the community have something to live for, because they know that even though my husband is dead and I cannot provide the life my husband provided for me, I can count on the members of my community to take care of the slack that my husband did have remained. All this must come from the tithe. Deuteronomy chapter 26 verse 12 says, it says that you are supposed to tithe of your increase. And the tithe must go to the Levite, to the church, to the strangers, to the fatherless, and to the widow. This is not my words. This is the word of the Most High. This is the laws of tithing. This is the principle on which every man should return their tithes. My people, you can't add or take away from the words of the Most High. You cannot give all the tithe to the church and say, I put the responsibility of doing the social work in the hands of the church. That is not the Most High intent. The Most High intention is for you to go out there and to touch base with the members of your community and live like a faithful member within your community. That is the Most High intent, and that is what the tithe is for. We, like silly billies, taking our 10% of our gross income like robots and hand it over to the church. That is why all of these pastors are driving about in big fancy cars, living lavish houses, eating meals that are so expensive that if you find out the bill that they're paying for their food, you'll cry. Flying about in expensive planes because you are foolishly disobeying the Most High law. That is why you cannot prosper, because the Most High says you have an obligation to your community. Don't take it from your own money. Use my money to do it. Give to the Levite, give to the strangers, give to the fatherless, give to the widow. My people, let us go to Malachi chapter 3. The text that is used to make the congregants feel guilty when they don't pay the tax, when they don't pay the tithe. But they don't tell you what Deuteronomy chapter 26 verse 12 says about tithing. My people, when you just hand in all of the money from your tithe to the church, you are breaking the Most High law. You are breaking the Most High law. Malachi chapter 3 verse 7 says, even from the day of your fathers, you have gone astray from my ordinances and have not kept them. Return to me, and I will return to you. What must I say in here? Your father was disobedient. Now I am calling you, who are now disobedient like your father, to come back to me. Follow my law as I give it. Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, wherein have we robbed you? In tithes and offering. You are cursed with a curse. You are cursed with a curse when you hand in your 10% of your gross salary to the church like that. You are a cursed person. Because that is not the principle on which the Most High wants you to tithe. He said, give 10% of the increase, and from that increase, after you pay all your bills, give 10% of that. Not 10% of your gross. One violation. Second violation, you are not supposed to hand in all of your tithe to the church. Give some to the church, some to the stranger, some to the fatherless, some to the widow. So that's why you are cursed with a curse, because you're not following the instructions that the Most High have given you. But you say, where? Yeah, you have cursed with a curse. Verse 9. For you have robbed me, even the whole nation have robbed me. When you didn't give to the widow, the fatherless, and the stranger from your tithe, you are robbing the Most High. Let me tell you something, my people. Giving all the money to the church does not absolve you from your responsibility to the widow, the fatherless, and the stranger from the Most High tithe. That is why most of you are not prospering, because you are not following the command of the Most High by giving to the widow, the fatherless, and the stranger within your community. Remember yesterday we discussed that Most High, that Abraham saw the three strangers. He went, he tracked them down, he caused them to be refreshed, and he fed them. He was paying his tithes. Verse 10. Bring you all the tithes into my storehouse. The storehouse is not the church. It is taking care of the need of the widow, the need of the fatherless, the need of the stranger, and the need of the Levite. That is the storehouse of the Most High. It is not the church. Don't get tricked because he said, bring all the tithe into my storehouse. He's speaking about a structure, the church. No. The storehouse of the Most High is the needs of the widow, the needs of the fatherless, the needs of the stranger, and the needs of the church. It is not a structure, it is figurative speech here. That there may be meat in my house, that the widow may have meat, that the fatherless children may have meat, that the stranger who is passing through will have meat, and the Levite, the church, may have meat. And prove me now, said the Lord, if I will not open the window of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough for you to receive it. So you have been tithing all of your life, and this blessing is not coming. It is because you are following the tithing system of the Christian churches. Wrong. You are cursed because of your deception. He said, I will rebuke the devourer for your sake. My people, when you don't tithe as the Most High said to tithe, you don't give the fatherless children, and they're hungry, they steal. They become delinquent, they become a problem for your community, and they grow up to become criminal. These same criminals are going to break into your house and steal your stuff, because the Most High did not rebuke the devourer. because you did not tithe. Your lack of faithfulness to the Most High creates an element in the community that will affect you directly. My people, you will not hear this anywhere else, because all the pastors want to get rich, and they want to get rich quick. All the churches want to build big fancy buildings and rob the people. How can these people say they are preaching the word of God and intentionally mislead their congregants to ensure their congregants remain poor, ensure that the preachers get big salary, and the churches who employ them become wealthy institutions? My people, all of these people are reprobates. They are reprobates because when they went to their seminaries, these same Caucasian who was teaching them induced them into homosexuality. And they were saying, since pastor this, who is their professor, is doing that, that means it's okay, I can pray for it and be forgiven. There is no forgiveness for that. The Most High says, Leviticus chapter 20 verse 13, if a man will lie with a man as he will lie with a woman, it's an abomination. They must be put to death, and their blood shall be on their own hands. The Most High have already withdrawn his spirit from all of those pastors. That is why people like Eddie Long was having homosexual relationship with young boys, because he was introduced to homosexuality somewhere along the line, and he took homosexuality to his ministry. That is why he was able to embezzle millions of dollars from his congregation by lying to them, having them paying more money than they should, and they keep the monies that should be given to the strangers, the fatherless, and the widows for themselves. They are coarse with a cause. Now we hear people like Clifford Dollar and all of these get pastors saying that their teaching on tithing was wrong. My people, a confession will not take away the cause, because the Most High have already withdrawn his spirit from them. Their confession is for their congregation to induce them into sympathy, because the truth of the Most High is coming out. My people, the Most High say he will send the Spirit of truth, who is going to bring his faithful people into all truth. And the all truth is going to be a confrontation with those false prophets who are in it for money. My people, if we were paying tithe as the Most High says, you will not have see so many churches established, because the money that is going to the churches will not be a lump sum where they can buy private jets and have fancy cars and fancy house. Remember when the Israelites crossed over the Jordan to inhabit the land of milk and honey that the Most High promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? All of the tribes, except for the Levites, was given a portion of land where they can prosper. The Most High did not give the Levite any land intentionally, because the Levite must depend on the other members of the community for their survival. And the tithe must not be so lavish that the Levite become greedy and start looking for the tithe, rather than to ensure the spiritual development of the community. My people, the Levites have to be responsible that the members of his community grow into perfection. And the more the Most High bless the community, is the bigger the tithe and the bigger the share the Levite have. So when you have people whose concern is your spiritual development, who will tell you the truth, not because they want favors from you, but because they want to see you prosper and be in good health, then it spill off onto the Levite. But when you have men who lie to you, they will get into ministry because ministry is lucrative. And the more money they can get, the better they feel. But they're going to hell. It means that only the people who are really called to ministry will get into ministry. Because they know they're not going to get rich. It's not the Most High desire for the preachers, the Levite, to become rich. That is why Yahweh says, when he send them out, don't walk with an extra cloak. Don't put money in your purse. When you go, the Most High is going to provide for your meals. He's going to provide for all of your needs. Not so with religion today. Christianity, not so. Christianity is a lucrative business. It has nothing to do with preparing people spiritually to meet their Creator. But it has to do how much money the pastors can make and how much money the institution who the pastors represents can make in the process. Remember, Christianity was created by the Caucasians, the people who the Most High said he hates and he will hate forever, to ensure the Israelites, men like me, the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, go to hell with them because they are on a one-way ticket to hell and there is nothing that can save them. Oh, great supreme and sovereign Most High Father, as I am finished speaking to your people today, let your Holy Spirit go with my words. Let your Holy Spirit lend clarity where I would have lent in future. Father, let your holy angels protect all who watch this video so that they can make the necessary change in their life, so that they can be obedient to you, not adding or taking away from your words, but following your words as you outline them. Not feeling guilty, but let them move to be completely faithful to you so you can bless everything they've put their hands to. In Yahshua's name I say let it be done. My people, my name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora, machismo. Talk to you tomorrow. Big topic tomorrow.